Hi, Jack from the Stretch Guy and Beechworth Massage, just showing you a 9-point test to determine your level of flexibility, so your natural level of flexibility or innate level of flexibility. This test is used by therapists to determine how flexible you are naturally, and therefore what your range of movement could be or potentially should be when we're doing certain tests on you, just to give ourselves a benchmark. So this could also be used as a benchmark for yourself, just out of interest, to see whether you are a less flexible person or a more flexible person. You probably already have a pretty good idea of where you fit on that scale, but you know, you might want to go further with that. So it's a 9-point test. 0 is not very flexible at all, and 9 points out of 9 is, you know, very flexible. Tie yourself in knots. There's not necessarily a good or a bad. With this, you're either not flexible, very flexible, or somewhere in between. So naturally, I'm not very flexible. I rate a 0 out of 9 on this, as you will see. I'm going to run through these tests or these movements with you. So let's start. The first one is just simply reaching down to touch the ground and just placing your hands flat on the ground. So we're just reaching down, and if you can, place your hands flat on the ground, which you can see I'm short of. If you can, that's a point. So 1 point out of a potential 9. Next we have, down on the ground, we're going to lift our heels. So we're sitting straight-legged, sitting up straight, and we're going to lift our heels up off the floor. And I don't know if you could see there, but I get, you know, maybe half a centimetre to a centimetre, somewhere around there. So if you get 2 centimetres or more, then that is a point. For one leg, 1 point, and for the other leg is a second point. So that's potential 3 points you have at this stage. The next test is using your finger. You're going to bend your finger back, and if you can get to 90 degrees at that joint there, that is a point. Same on the other hand, that is a point. So as you can see, I'm still on 0. I don't know where you are on the scale so far. So that's a potential 5 points we have there. The next one is your thumbs. We're going to bend the thumb back. I don't know if you can see where I'm going, but I'm trying to bend it back onto my forearm. You can see there's quite a gap there for me. 1 point potentially. And then the other one, bending it back onto your forearm. Another point potentially. I don't know if you can see that very well. I'll try to pull that back in that direction. Okay, so there's potentially 7 points that you might have so far. And the last one's your elbows. So you're holding your arm out, and if you can hyperextend your elbow, you can see mine stays at, if that would be 0 degrees, that would be 90 degrees. Okay, if I can go 10 degrees back the other way, and if your elbow does this, you'll know, you'll be able to see your elbow bending back the other way. 10 degrees, that's a point, and that's for each arm. So there's potentially 9 points you could have there. You could have 0. It doesn't really matter where you are on that scale, but out of interest, let's say you're at a yoga class or you're doing a stretch class, and the person next to you is tying himself in a knot, and you are really struggling with that, and you've scored a 0 if you've done this test. That might just give you some sort of indication as to why, naturally, you're not very flexible. If you are very flexible at the other end, you could end up with problems with joints, because the body is able to move further than it safely should. So, you know, you might need to be working on your strength, whereas the person on 0 probably needs to be working on their flexibility. Jump on Facebook, let me know how you went. Thanks.